Okay, so I thought today what I might do is kind of walk you through our responsibility chart. Since I'm not always able to meet with everyone individually, I thought it might be a nice way for me to kind of run through some of these things with you as well. In case you don't recognize my voice, this is Donovan, the owner of Ernie Williamson Music and also the president. And so what I'm going through here is this is our responsibility chart. So it's not necessarily an organization chart. It's really just kind of a chart that is designed to show you the flow through which people work and kind of like who makes decisions, who do they go to with problems, who handles what. Might be kind of a subtle difference, but I generally like an organization that's pretty flat. I want all the people to do the right thing at all the times, and I'm not real big on chains of command. But then I also recognize that we need clarity and improved communication, and it really helps to know, especially if you're new to a company, to know like, well, how do I know who does what? And so that's kind of why we put this together. The other reason we put this together is we are an EOS traction company. So EOS stands for Entrepreneurial Operating System, and it's a very popular system that's designed to kind of help create goals and objectives and clarity in your company, and then how do you kind of communicate that throughout the organization. We started working on this, I think, back in 2016. It takes honestly a couple of years to get it like all implemented, and we've been running it ever since. So it's a big part of how we operate. And hopefully in the new hire docs, I'll have those updated where you can get a quick overview on what the heck is EOS anyways, which will kind of help you to understand things. Depending on your role in this company will determine the amount of involvement you have in EOS. But every employee in one way or another will see pieces of it, whether it's through their store meeting agendas or something like that. Everyone's will have some amount of interaction with EOS and the things that go through it. So a couple things to note about this form. So anywhere you see LMA, that just stands for this kind of formula here about leadership and management equals accountability. While this is technically like I feel like everyone leads. There's certain people that are specifically have that, they're chartered with that responsibility. And so you'll see LMA there. And then anywhere you see something like a number in a parentheses, this is how many people roughly occupy that position. The goal is where nobody would have like multiple bosses for the same thing. We want kind of a clear communication for something. But the reality is that we do have, depending on what the situation is, we have people that sort of own these categories. So, they kind of own the leadership in that position. But let's kind of go through it. So starting at the top, for no other reason than I guess it's just a good place to start, would be our visionary role, which, to be honest, is a term I kind of hate. It sounds very lofty, but as much as I've tried Googling and looking at the sources, I can't find a better word. This visionary word is a word that comes from EOS. It's a word that they use and assign. Not every company will have a visionary, but if you do, the visionaries, their responsibility is like basically charting out kind of the future path of where you're going as a company, what those big future goals are. And that doesn't necessarily mean like just short term, like what do we think our annual sales goals are going to be this year, but just like what is it you're trying to do over the next 3, 5, 10 years. Visionary is responsible for being involved with big ideas, solving big problems, key big relationships, that kind of stuff. So these could be big customer relationships, vendor relationships, like anything that's like really important to our success and thrive, and is something that I'm heavily involved in. And then keeping current with industry trends. This is just making sure that our business is always charted and in the right direction so that we can remain viable for the future. I think roughly about half of all businesses will have a visionary. You don't have to have a visionary to have a successful business. But if in this case, it is something that we have, and it's mainly just because I do like to kind of see to the future. I do like to challenge us. I like to set like big audacious goals for us and stuff like that. So anyway, that's kind of my role here. Then the next step down is our integrator, and Amanda handles that. And the integrator does a few things. So handles the leadership, management, accountability, of course. She also integrates sales and marketing, operations, and finance. So the integrator basically takes these other key processes. Every business essentially has these key processes: sales and marketing, finance, and operations. And so the integrator just kind of incorporates all those things together. She oversees our big, like, kind of company level projects. And then Amanda also oversees any of our day-to-day issues that we may have. These are all things that she handles. Then if we drop down below that, you've got the sales and marketing process. So I'm currently sitting in this role. We've had other people in the past do it, but I'm currently kind of back in it. And essentially my job here is overseeing the sales and marketing processes, reviewing our sales and product training, and creating and implementing marketing content. So that's what I'm doing there. And then our e-commerce team directly does report to me, but they also provide data and information to Misty as well. But essentially they report to me. And they handle website sales, third-party site sales, so like Reverb, eBay, that kind of stuff. They handle those kind of things. Then we have our help desk and online retail merchandisers. This is basically more like online. This is the position where they're adding products to the website. Steven handles that. And then for our actual like IT network and server infrastructure, things that are kind of beyond Steven's capabilities, then we still have Brett Gibbs that helps us with that as a remote worker there. So this team essentially answers to me, and sometimes it's because like it just relates directly to what I'm doing. Sometimes it's because I'm the only person that has a vague understanding of what these guys are actually talking about. So anyway, sometimes that's how that works. Now, if we look over at finance and operations, again, this is also Amanda. And so she has the leadership, management, and accountability. She coordinates all of our accounts receivable and accounts payable activities. If these terms are new to you, basically accounts receivable, that means these are the people who owe us money. They are accounts receivable. And then people we owe money, like our vendors, is accounts payable. So she oversees those employees and activities. She handles all of our financial projections, and she develops processes and operations, and she ensures that everyone's following them. Then below that, we basically have the store managers, and this recording was made with the anticipation of bringing on the crew from Emporia, Kansas. So these numbers have kind of been updated to try to reflect their participation. But our store managers also are responsible for leadership, management, and accountability. They also are responsible for coaching their team, overall store performance, and handling all staffing. And then we'll just kind of, I guess, follow down the line here. Then below that, we have our retail salespeople, which they handle customer service, sales, merchandising, display. And again, with all these roles, there's more than just this. I just tried to pick what I felt like the top 3 to 5 kind of responsibilities were, just to be helpful to new employees to kind of look and see what someone does. If someone has a better idea of what should be here, you're welcome to tell me, and I'm happy to update it. Then we have our store operations personnel, and they basically will handle all shipping and receiving, organization, restock, inventory counts. They basically handle all of that. And I guess actually right now we're down to 3 of those people. Actually, no, we're going to have 4. Yeah, not all locations have this. Smaller locations, often just don't need someone dedicated to that. And in the case where we don't have a dedicated person, then usually this responsibility falls up to the store manager. And then we have our retail repair techs. So what we mean by this, these are the repair techs that exist in the retail stores, and they're doing customer and store repair. So these would be different from the repair techs that operate out of the hub or something like that. So, and this number really includes those people that they're designed, mainly they work with like the end user customers. The new team coming on from Emporia, I've kind of included them over in this column here. So retail repair techs ultimately kind of report to the store managers. Then over here, we've got our repair manager, which is Paul, who again handles the LMA, handles staffing, training, quality control, repair. And then below him are all of the other band and orchestra repair techs that are at the hub. So they handle customer. So this would be both private customers like individuals and schools, and store repair. And then we have our school service manager, and this position is also currently occupied by Amanda. That we've had other people in this role before, but she currently occupies it. She coordinates the school service team and preparation and execution of rental season. So she's handling that, does a great job with that. Then below her, we have our school service reps, and they handle sales and service to all of our schools. And this number, this 10 number, does include the folks from Emporia, and that's because a lot of at Emporia in particular, a unique situation, many of their repair techs are also road reps, so there's some duplication of numbers here. And then we have an ed rep support team, which is currently 2. Actually, I think we may have 3, because I think there's someone over at Emporia that also handles this. And these folks, they basically just handle estimates, invoices, and deliveries, coordinating deliveries for inventory, repairs, all kinds of stuff that is needed for our school service team. They handle support directly for the ed reps, and then also for educators directly, which has been a kind of a new thing that we have added and expanded, and it's been really, really impactful. And then going back up here to accounts payable. So handling our accounts payable is Michelle. She handles all of our vendor payables. And then also is purchasing, which is Donnie, and Donnie handles inventory management. So that's all the ordering and managing our min-max levels. Basically anything to do with product inflow, Donnie manages that. And then kind of working closely with both those two, but directly with Michelle, is our hub operations, which is Monica, and she handles shipping and receiving, organization, and inventory counts, among other things as well. And then in accounts receivable, these people handle customer payments and collections. So everything from just customers making routine payments, like schools and churches making payments on their accounts, to rental customers making payments, lesson customers making payments. Anything that isn't happened at the retail level, payment wise, goes through this. And then even various levels of collection efforts, everything from just past due texts and phone calls all the way up to court cases and judgments and garnishments. So accounts receivable team handles all of that. And then finally over here with retail education, we have Misty, and Misty handles all of our, basically this is the lesson program. So in addition to LMA, she does hiring, training, and administration for the entire lesson program company-wide. And then she manages all of our teachers. And our teachers, their goals are to teach music to students through music that students love. Should be also just kind of noted that Misty is also over here on the store management team. She also manages the store in Kansas City. So Misty's responsible for roughly 50 employees, which that is, most of those are part-time. And then Amanda's got about a similar number, maybe even a little higher, but similar. I don't know. I think it's about a similar number over here. And I'm getting off this thing pretty easy with just a handful of folks. So I'm thankful to both Misty and Amanda for making this possible. So anyway, so yeah, that's essentially our organization chart as a whole. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're just kind of wondering, like, well, who do I go to for this? I hope that you can kind of reference this chart and get a sense of like who is responsible for what, and maybe the flow of information. But what I want to be real clear is I'm not big on a chain of command. So let's say you find yourself over here in this position here, ed rep support, and you have a question directly for me. My door is always open. Like, come ask me. Like, that's just you don't have to go through the school service manager and through all these layers, which I guess in that case is only one layer. It's only Amanda, but you don't have to do that. If there's something you need directly from me, come to me, and I will do the same. If I need something from you, I'll go directly to you. But sometimes I think it's just sort of handy to know, like, well, who's supposed to be handling this? So, and like everything, all these people have many more duties than what's outlined here. This was just trying to give you kind of a quick overview. So Hope you find this helpful and useful. And as we make updates, this document will always be updated, even though this video might not be. So to find the most current version of this document, you can go to Google Drive and search for responsibility chart, and you can see whatever changes and improvements have been made during that time. All right, cool. Thanks for watching.